Good morning, Kevin. Happy
Hey,
Tuesday.
Earl, great to see you. Yeah, we're usually together on a Monday.
Absolutely. Great holiday weekend, Father's Day, Juneteenth. Yesterday, then we're back to business on today.
That's right, back to business, and it's springtime slash summertime now. So this is typically our biggest and busiest season of the year. Although we know right now in real estate and like everything else in the world, nothing is typical and usual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been telling people, for a little while now, as things have slowed into transition of our normal season, as you say, it may taper out to be a longer period, of just sustained, kind of where we are now, throughout the year, which will be good, not so much of a roller coaster, highs and lows.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, typically we have some pretty big ups and downs, and now I just think it's steady. People are buying and selling when they need to buy and sell.
Right. That's absolutely right. Which leads us until our first point, which is just about the local market, the greater Hampton Roads area, which includes Williamsburg, the entire 7 cities. We bring also Gloucester as well as Yorktown into the mix as well. And as I reported last week, as of last week, we showed 5 months inventory, which basically showed that we were in a balanced market. Well, 8 days later, it now shows our current month of inventory down to 3. So that means it's slightly dipped back into that seller's market, which I'm assuming it's going to, teeter-totter, probably the rest of the year until things, balance out, more overall. But also, too, since last week, a number of new listings have increased to 1,710, which is a good thing. The active listings we currently have right now, which is single family homes, townhomes, or condos, is up to about 2,819. Now, I don't know if that actually breaks it down on properties that are currently under contract as well, which I think it doesn't. I don't think it separates that. So that number may be slightly skewed. But the average days to sell right now is down to 21. From last week, I think it was somewhere around 27, 28 days, average on market here in the greater Hampton Roads area. So a little less than a month. That's a good thing. It'll definitely be a better thing once inventory increases.
Yeah, that's interesting because when you talk to folks that are out there home shopping, they're saying when a house goes on the market, it's going under contract like immediately. There's still multiple offers. So I guess homes that are good houses and priced right are still selling pretty quickly.
Yes.
But that's interesting that the number of listings are up, but the months of inventory is lower, which means things must be selling.
Yes. And that's the strange part. What we're seeing, different realtors do different things and for, their clients, sellers, whatnot. So what we're seeing is sometimes realtors will present to the sellers ASAP as soon as they get the contract in. So homes are going into contract within 24 hours. In some cases, they allow a little bit more time for showings, which usually about 3 to 4 days. So still overall, it's moving pretty quickly, but that's happening, of course, like we spoke of before, because of that super low inventory.
Yeah. And the inventory, you and I had chit-chatted about this previously. Inventory is a struggle with where mortgage rates are. Sellers who have properties that are financed with rates in the 2s and 3s aren't necessarily willing to just sell unless it's a need.
Right.
Some of the needs that that will cause someone to need to sell is it could be transfer with work, or military is a big one here. That's actually a benefit we have a lot of places don't, is the military moves people in and out.
Absolutely.
And military housing, I think I heard from somebody last week, there's about a 6-month wait for any sort of military housing. But folks change dynamics of their family. Maybe they get married, or maybe they have more kids, or they're retiring, or whatever it is. It's usually some sort of life event that is stimulating sales now, more so than just, hey, I'm ready for a different home.
Right. Absolutely. And that's completely right. It's not just them saying, hey, I want to move somewhere different. I want a different neighborhood. It's more so about the whole either the job or sincere need. The family's grown, significantly. That 3 or 4 bedroom just won't work anymore. So they have to go up to the 5 or the 6,
And they did a survey I saw recently that asked sellers when they would be willing to sell. And the magic number for our mortgage rates was 5.5. So once rates get 5.5 and lower, a lot of sellers are going to be like, okay, I may give up my 3%, but I'm not going to a 6 or a 7. I'm going to 5.25, and that's a very reasonable and acceptable rate. So at that point, we'll probably see a lot more inventory coming on board. Now, when are we going to get into the 5s? Well, if you asked me a few months ago, I've been like, oh, probably this summer, at least by fall. But, the economy just is still on fire. It's still growing. It's still hot. So that's still pushing inflation up. There's still, job shortages. Like, there's unemployment is low. Wages are still up. So as long as the economy stays strong, it's not going to bring mortgage rates down anytime soon as we were expecting. So, we may be looking at upper 6s, even 7s, for a little bit more time, maybe even throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's everything that I was hearing, as well. That magic number was right around that 5.5. More inventory should hit the market. I heard some other startling facts. 42% of all homeowners own their homes outright across the country.
Yep.
No mortgage, 42%. So, sometimes that's huge. So when people talk about, in comparison to 2008, the market doing this, the market doing that, that's why you really can't even speak of it in the same conversation. If 42% of people own their homes completely outright and 33% of people bought their homes all cash, we don't have anywhere near the same type of situation. A lot more stringent regulations. It's almost double as hard trying to get a home now than it was back then, and sometimes a lot of people don't, they don't understand it. They see the bigger, headlines from this place or that place, the shock jock type of news.
And even people with mortgages still have huge amounts of equity.
Yes. That's, like you said, that equity is super high, right now over the gains we saw over the last 3 years or so, which is, like I said, just like you said, when that 5.5 point comes around, the lower 5s, if we get back there at some point, that's when you'll see a lot more homes come available that'll fit a lot of needs across the board.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cool. Yep. So to me, still sounds like there's some great options and opportunities out there, especially with that days on the market. You can find some good anxious sellers and get some good deals, because when things really take off, nothing's going to be cheaper. It never is. And you can always refinance.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it. That's the absolute beauty. Hey, Kevin, it's been wonderful, my man. Thank you so much, for taking your time out with me on this Tuesday. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk soon.
Talk to you Monday.
Thanks, bud.